Welcome to this week's edition of the Gen Z Project with Jennifer Openshaw.
Just pinged you. Pronounce your name for me.
Jully Taveras.
Oh, it's Julie. Okay. All right. So it's perfect. So let me get started. Okay, since we're like right at the hour, and I'm Jen. It's great to meet you, Julie. Let me just hang on one second. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me get going here. Let's see. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go right about now. Here we go.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Gen Z Project with Jennifer Openshaw.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Gen Z Project. You know, money is on the minds of a lot of people with COVID, and COVID has actually disproportionately been affecting young Latinas and Black communities. It's becoming, of course, much harder to make smart financial decisions, let alone just getting by economically. So how can Latina Gen Z-ers and Latinos save and make smart money decisions? What's the role of entrepreneurship right now in this whole COVID economy as we're waiting for the world to open up? What role will that play in them being financially secure? And how can financial literacy be used as a tool? We read and hear a lot about it, but here to join us is none other than Jully Taveras. Thank you so much, Jully, for joining us. It's great to have you. Jully, by the way, everybody, is the founder of Investing Latina. So you think and eat and breathe all this stuff, right, Jully?
I do. Well, hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. And I'm excited to talk about these issues because they affect not only the entire population, but definitely disproportionately affect some of underserved communities. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Jen.
Hey, Jully, what are you seeing right now on the ground when it comes to this community?
Yes. So there is absolutely this shift in terms of how the pandemic has affected the community, the Latin community. We actually make up 66% of the workforce. There are so many people that have been working through this because they are essential workers, but there have also been many people that have lost their jobs during this time. And it is really tough. And I know that it's tough for people everywhere, even on a worldwide scale, but it definitely has affected the Latin community in a lot of ways, and the Black community in a lot of ways, particularly because they are the ones that are definitely in the front lines. They are the ones that are putting in the blood, sweat, and tears, and that provide a lot of these essentials for us. So I'm seeing that there is struggle. You know, we're seeing what's happening with evictions right now, and that's really, really tough. And it's really the reason why I love talking about the importance of personal finance, the importance of investing, because these things are unpredictable. You know, we never know when a pandemic is going to happen. We could never predict it. We never know when we will lose our jobs or lose a loved one, which so many people have. And it's really heartbreaking.
And most people really don't prepare for that, right? Almost nobody could have prepared for this. It's interesting, Jully, because we've had a young woman who was a leader on our team and juggling a lot of stuff, including fires in California.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen reports about it having a disproportionate impact on women. When it comes to Latinos, Latinas, can we say if it's a bigger impact on women versus men? I mean, we know that women are juggling the kids too, but from a work perspective, what's your thought?
I think when it comes to the gender itself, it probably is definitely affecting women more so, especially because as kids are staying home now, it's more difficult to really do everything. You know, so much falls on the head of the household being the woman, honestly, and she's the one that's doing the work, going out, and also taking care of the home and the children. So it definitely affects, I believe, women more so than men.
And obviously the wages of Latinos are much less, but also primarily because they're in those lower paying jobs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Latins make 54 cents to Latino women specifically make 54 cents to the dollar of every white man. So there is a huge, huge wage gap. And it makes it more difficult for people to have a better handle, to have savings, to have investment accounts compared to white families and Latino families. The gap is huge. The average that someone will have in retirement as a Latino is $22,000 versus $160,000 for a white family. So it becomes really difficult, especially when you're just not making as much and you have to kind of figure stuff out.
Julie, you came here from the Dominican Republic, right?
Yes, I immigrated
What
here.
Yeah, what made you come here? Looking for a better life? What was it?
For sure. So my parents, actually, my mother came here when I was just 8 months old. So it was something that was already in the works that her father wanted the entire family. She's one of 11. And he wanted the entire family to come here. Back in the Dominican Republic, they owned, a small little home with land, and they grew their own fruits and vegetables. And, they wanted a better life for all of their children. And the process had begun, and my mom was in the process of coming here, and she got notified when I was just 8 months old that she was approved to come here, and our family was broken up, and we weren't together again for 4 years after that. So that was when we all came. My father and I came and joined my mom here. So my story is an immigrant story, and there are so many Latinos. And when we're talking about Gen Z specifically, actually the statistic is that 34% of Gen Z Latinos are foreign born. So there are a lot of people that are immigrants here, that are first gen here, and that really are navigating the waters and figuring stuff out. For me, that's exactly how it was. I had to serve as the translator in the family, even though Spanish was my first language. But of course, those are things that really challenged us, but also helped our family sort of grow and figure out what it was to go from a country that's very different to a place where we have to learn a new language, we have to figure out how the financial system works. And those are the things that I really like to educate people on.
And folks, we're talking to Jully Taveras. She is the founder of Investing Latina. So Jully, talk to me about some more about the impact that COVID specifically has had on Gen Z-ers.
Yeah.
What is it? I mean, clearly they may be out of work. They therefore can't save. So that has a double whammy. What else are you seeing? Increased debt?
Yeah. So when it comes to the Gen Zers and the specific COVID effect, like we can call it, because I think that this COVID effect is going to continue for some time. We don't know, when vaccinations will be available. That's always, every day we wake up, it's like TBD what's happening, right? But from a financial point, it means that more Gen Zs are going into more debt. So whether it be to go to school, whether it be to really help their parents that have been affected by this pandemic, that might have lost their jobs or have even gotten sick. I personally have an 18-year-old sister that just started college this year. And, there was this huge unknown. She wasn't even sure if she was going to attend. Eventually, she decided that she would go on campus and continue. She was very strong and fearless when it came to that. But definitely, I think that there will be this thing where there will be more debt because of the financial factors of what has happened. So all of that being said, there is also opportunity. I think that when it comes to financial literacy, we can learn. And I think that the online community, and this is the reason why I created Investing Latina, to bring this knowledge forward to our youth, to let them know that there are ways you can start small doing things. And that's really the message that I want to share with Gen Z. And that may mean opening up a small savings account, a small investment account, so that you can really kind of get started, because you don't go from 0 to 100 overnight. You work your way up.
Jully, how old are you? Just because I figure you're a Gen Zer, we should tell our audience.
I am 32. So I am a
Okay,
millennial. Yes, us
you're a
millennials. So
millennial,
all
yeah,
the
and
things
you're
they
working
say
with.
about us.
No, super interesting, because one of the questions I was going to ask you is, do you think Latinos, Latinas prefer to work with, others, Latinos, essentially, when it comes to money issues? Or like, is there more of a trust issue, or do they think for some reason, I don't know, maybe Caucasians are better for some reason because they
That
see
is
them in these key positions, right?
Of course, and that is an amazing question. So when it comes to the financial workforce, Latinos make up a very small portion of it. So even if we wanted to work with Latinos, it is very difficult to do that. And especially when it comes to investing, right? This is like my main thing. This is what I love to talk about. And I want to also say that when it comes to investing, it's an ecosystem. It's not just about money. It's not just about the expenditure. It's really about what you put into yourself and how you commit to yourself. So it's pretty difficult to find a financial advisor that is Latino. And I think that that's something that we is important to talk about, because Gen Z, you should get into this. This is an important place to be, to think about finance and how you can support millennials and Gen X. Those are all people that have money and that really need to figure out how to best use their money, invest their money, and overall improve their financial literacy.
Well, they need the guidance on how to do it, because in some cases, advisors have minimum requirements, as you know, although a lot of folks have changed that to some extent. What are the kind of top 3 tips that you would offer up to Gen Zers to, make the most of their spending and saving right
Yes.
now?
So spending and saving is always kind of like a balancing act, right? I know that life can feel very YOLO. It did for me, for sure, when I was younger, when I was that age, and you want to just enjoy it. But what I like to tell people is that you really want to focus on what you envision yourself to be in the future, right? So you think about what is it that you want. And it could be, some of it can be the moment right now. I want to buy something to reward myself for a specific reason, but make sure that you're rewarding your future, right? And you do that really by putting your best foot forward, by investing into yourself, whether it be in an education in a career that you really want to pursue, investing into your own personal finances, really keeping track of your success, because I think that that's something when we're younger we don't necessarily think about. And even though you're young, you've already accomplished a lot of things, whether it be school groups, whether it be activities that you've done, leadership activities that you've been a part of. All of those things, they're really important to kind of do. So you want to definitely make sure that you're thinking about that you're balancing what I can spend on now, but that will also give you a return, right? So thinking about where can I get a return on my investment and how can I make the most of it for my future.
Do you, in this environment, like, are you telling folks to put their money in the stock market while it's low and volatile, or what kind of advice are you giving folks right now?
Yeah, sure. When it comes to investing into the stock market specifically, I really don't like to use the term buy low, sell high. That's not something that I think that we should really focus on, because what that does is that it actually creates financial anxiety in people. And you start to think about it kind of day in and day out. It's like, oh, should I buy this stock right now? I think that the best approach to really go about it is to have a consistent dollar amount that you want to put into an account on a monthly basis, and pick a day of the month, your favorite day. What I like to do is suggest that people invest on the day of their birthday. So for example, if today's your birthday, happy birthday. Today's the 8th, and you can do that on the every single month on the 8th of the month. And you do that for yourself, before you know it, you'll have a huge account. I personally started investing when I was 19 years old. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what a target date fund was, but I
What did you
thought it
invest
sounded good.
in? What did you? Yeah, I was crunching numbers and doing a budget when I was, putting myself through school and a maid in a motel when I was like 14. What were you putting your money into? Just curious.
I simply I started working for a nonprofit and they offered a 403B, and there wasn't even a restriction on you had to be there a certain amount of time to have this account. And I started right away because they said, hey, if you put in $50, we're going to give you $50 too. And free money to me sounded really good at that time.
Yeah. We love free money, right? I mean,
Right.
that's one of the biggest mistakes is people don't get going and they miss out on the free match money, which is huge. And companies have, I think largely a lot of them have pulled back, but it's still there. And even if not, you're still saving your money on a pre-tax basis. So you're making your hard-earned money go a lot further, stretch a lot further.
Yes. And I love that you brought that up because it also goes to show that times change, things change. From a financial perspective, there will be times where things will be better and companies will offer these programs again. And it can also change. There's a lot of profit sharing happening now, especially in the tech space. So for us, we used to always have this 401k idea and this match idea that might change, but it might become better. And the important part is to kind of ask questions, and see where you can get free money. Don't be afraid to reach out to HR and say, what can I do? What kind of things do you offer? I'm studying this and I would love career advancement or placement in this. How can you help me with that? And if you are in a position, and this could be a company that you have a part-time job in, there are definitely tons of programs there. If you're working at a mall, if you're working at a Starbucks even, look into those programs because there's definitely a lot of opportunity.
One of the biggest moves that really Latinas can make to boost their earnings is to get educated and move into certain career areas that are really the areas of growth,
Yes.
really for anybody of any background. But whether it's engineering or some of the growing industries like healthcare, medical, technology, obviously, that's where you can go from making minimum wage to, making the high wage and, really becoming financially independent. And it's such a good feeling when you're able to make choices because you have your own financial independence as opposed to, being stuck and desperate.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned that, Jen, because technology, right? It's exploding. There's so much newness there. There is so much growth. Those are growth stocks right now, those technology company stocks. And it's definitely, it's an indication. These are where the jobs will be. So take advantage of it. I feel like coding now is almost another language. And if you can learn that, you put yourself in a very great position to be able to, adapt and find more jobs.
Jully, anything else you want to add before we wrap up here?
Well, I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Girls with Impact. Thank you, Jen, so much for hosting this, because I think that you mentoring and providing this for the youth is really a game changer. It really affects people's lives. And hearing these things from a young age plants seeds. So I want to advise you to continue to listen to what Jen shares and follow Girls with Impact online so that you can really see what's happening, learn from these things. We, have seen a lot of things, ups and downs, and right now things are tough, but things will get better, and that is for sure. And
we've got a special COVID relief promotion going on right now. So it's, about almost free for a program that's, really giving girls, whether they're Latinas, African-American, all backgrounds, a huge leg up. So folks should take advantage of that because that's wrapping up in the next week. Jully, thank you so much.
Definitely do that. I do also want to share that you can follow me online, Investing Latina. I love to share financial tips day in and day out. So go ahead. I'm teaching a workshop on investing on Monday. So you can check out my website, investinglatina.com. And you can also learn how to invest and really take advantage of the financial markets that we have.
And we'll be sure to pass that on. Jully, thank you so much. Jully Taveras of Investing Latinas. Check out her website and her upcoming workshop. We'll see you all next week right here on the Gen Z Project with Jennifer Openshaw. Thanks for joining and have a fantastic day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.